Okay, we're at a police/military base here in the Nile Delta. This place is very surreal. We've been going through incredible agricultural areas, and now this whole ancient archaeological site has basically almost nothing growing on it.
You always got the good one on it. There is a huge chunk here of milky quartz that I love too much. Wow. Probably the largest one remains in any other side.
So we're several hundred miles away from any granite or quartzite stone quarry, and yet look at the number and size of these huge blocks here. So Patricia, was all this stuff found buried?
Yep, absolutely. They've moved it, lined it all up here. And you can look out here and you'll look at how the desert moves and all these lumps, everything under there. This site is covered. We're probably only seeing 2%, if that, of what's underneath the sands. And as you walk around, you're going to see you're going to see the obelisks that they tried to take away, and because they didn't understand the physics of it, they're broken in two all over the place. Over here is the sacred lake, and it's built and constructed, and there's even, as you go down the steps, you can see there's writings along the bottom. But this whole site, most of it's underground. But what we're seeing is unbelievable.
When I've been reading Petrie's original text, he said that there was roughly 120-foot colossi here. One colossi, but he speculates that there should have been two, but they've only found the one. But he said it was all into pieces, and from Ramses II time, they have been carving things out of these pieces, but said there was enough pieces that he could fit it together to a minimum of 120 feet high.
And it would have been a granitic stone.
That he said it was a granitic as opposed to being the quartzite like these ones.
Any estimate on the weight?
Well, he equated it with the Ramesseum.
So
Big.
700 to 1,000 tons, moved either from the eastern desert or from Aswan Quarry.
That's right.
Which is at the opposite end of Egypt.
That's right.
But the damage is much more on the right side than the left side. Wow.
Why is it cut like that? Because the statue itself was broken apart, and this was used as a block in modern structures like this.
Wow.
But when you look at a statue that is this big, and you look at the size of the foot, and then look at the size of a foot like this size, then how the
125 feet tall.
Yeah. The only statue with this much, which in my opinion, it was once in my opinion, megalithic.
These are not Aswan granite. These have a really they have a reasonable quartz content in them. So I'm not sure where they come from. It's either going to be in Sinai or the eastern desert, but they have quite a bit of quartz in them. So they are, look at how coarse and loose that is.
Yeah.
They're going to break apart a lot quicker than some of the darker ones.
And we can see that it's not as perfect as the structures in the pyramid structure. There is huge space between them.
Doing dynamic video here, folks. One solid piece of granite. So this is dynastic work or later. You can see it's limestone, small pieces. And then we have this landscape here. Solid chunks of granite either from the eastern desert or Aswan in the absolute south of Egypt. And obelisks whose surface here is exceedingly heavily eroded. Lots of obelisks.
But also it has another good evidence to it that we can see. Look at the amount of flints in it.
I think perhaps that these came first because they've got the better cuts that have been preserved.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's because they're finer crystalline size and the lattice structure holds together. So when they cut it with precision, it holds that precise angle and the smoother cut on it.
Right.
But this is not like these two and it's the precision cuts on it.
Oh, this is Travertine? And you think that it's possible that the Travertine isn't even from Egypt?
Well, from what I've seen of the hot springs around here, they are fairly small hot springs. This could be from one of the smaller hot springs because you can see the crystal size. Whereas, remember in Karnak, we were seeing those calcite crystals about this thick before they hit the mudstone. That thick again, mudstone. These are very small. I think this may be local or maybe just on the edge of one.
Okay.
How solid is flint in the most? 7. 7? That's at the silica. What you had there is, Susan was sports site with shirt that with flint in it. So not the silica would give it a percent.
Those are not.
Right.
No.
Well, see, there was a piece at the other place that.
So, Susan, here's an interesting piece of stone or something.
It's got gas bubbles in it. I think it's a piece of slag from. I've read the Romans used to work glass here, but it may have been something else that they were working. But that appears to be a piece of slag.
Okay, but could it be a piece of cooked stone?
No.
No?
When you feel it, it's just way lighter. It's from the smelting process.
Oh, yeah, there's way too much destruction and surface damage here. Possible evidence of the stone being scorched.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Give me this feeling as under salt water. Like the black soil. Black soil.
So you see the limestone, and that tells us this is likely dynastic period. However, you have these massive slabs of granite, and not just massive slabs of granite. This is actually a room or series of rooms which are now underground, but could have been above ground thousands upon thousands of years ago. Solid granite room leading on to another room.
We Shashank, Buzusenes, also Kuntu, we come.
Oh, that's a box
Good, very good. This we close.
with the lid on it. So, an underground structure with giant slabs of granite. And I don't know what that is, whether it might be a box. So this site is called Tanis. It's located about 4 hours north of Cairo. Phenomenal site, megalithic, seems to have been buried as a result of a cataclysm. It was likely dug up during dynastic times by Ramses II in order to utilize the granite for other construction purposes. And then the famous French archaeologist Mariette did some work here and others.